hot on the heels of the growing fraud controversy involving Governor Tim Walz and that one, Representative Ilhan Omar. They call her the ill one. The Department of Homeland Security, they're launching a sweeping immigration raid in Minneapolis and rounding up more than a dozen violent illegal aliens, and many of them Somalis. DHS says the captured criminals are among the worst of the worst and include a bunch of child predators, domestic abusers, and vicious gang members. They also claim that the sanctuary policies of Governor Walz are directly responsible for allowing these horrible offenders and what they call domestic terrorists to roam freely on American streets and continue to victimize far too many innocent people. Additionally, DHS points out that while federal law enforcement, such as ICE agents, are busy risking their lives to protect Minnesotans, local officials like Walz and Minneapolis Mayor Jacob Frey simply kicking back, playing canasta, and doing absolutely nothing to deal with the problem. Not to be left out, Congresswoman Omar is sticking to her guns, doubling down, and claiming that there are hardly any undocumented Somali immigrants here in the U.S., saying it would be easier to find a needle in a haystack. However, the esteemed lawmaker might want to reconsider her position since several of her fellow Somali nationals have already been nabbed in the raid, including a number of career criminals previously convicted for fraud, robbery, also assault, and more. Yeah, it's just despicable. Earlier this week, President Trump apparently reached his limit with Omar's nonsense, calling the Congresswoman garbage and accusing both her and her fellow Somali migrants of doing nothing but complaining once they enter our country.
Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These are people that do nothing but complain. They complain. And from where they came from, they got nothing.
Well, for their part, both Governor Walz and Representative Omar are standing their ground, defending both their actions and the integrity of Minnesota's immigrant population and condemning the president's dangerous and unprecedented remarks. In the meantime, a growing number of agencies within the Trump administration, they're now launching widespread investigations into a network of Somali groups in Minnesota, which are linked to a massive $1 billion COVID-era fraud scandal. Now, among the shocking accusations, a failure by Walz to properly audit the disbursement of public funds. Final thought, and this is the News Roundup Lowdown. With each passing day, the state known as the land of 10,000 lakes keeps popping up in the news. And unfortunately, it's not good news. Right off the bat, a message for the guy who's loitering in the governor's mansion in Minnesota. His name is Tim Walz. Resign. Resign, move out, get a job as an assistant manager at a bookstore. Your state is being poorly run, and the bulk of the fine people in your state do not appreciate crime, fraud, corruption, gangs, and all the rest. Lives are being destroyed, and all on your watch. And by the way, in case you missed it, this is not the first time that the Timmer has scored a starring role as a villain on the big Roundup, and he made a special guest appearance right here on yesterday's program. Just a reminder, he's the guy who right now is in the middle of an epic fraud investigation where hardworking, honest American taxpayers, folks like you and I, were pickpocketed to the tune of $1 billion. But he says, I know nothing. Here's the real kick in the head. It's more than just money. It's the amount. And the fact that those monies were initially set aside to feed hungry children, that's just salt on a festering wound. This is nothing short of repugnant, and each and every one of us nationwide, not just Minnesotans, all of us should demand full accountability, and not only from Governor Walz, the Timster, but from Minnesota's fine congressional representative, Ilhan Omar, whom some are saying is involved in the scam as well. Hey, Minnesotans, you can do better, and you deserve better. And hey, Producer Davey, 2028. Think about it, man. That's just minutes away. And how about a Walz-Omar ticket with Kamala Harris on board to keep a close watch on the border? What do you think?
Well, Bill, I think Shakespeare said it best.
Yeah.
There's something rotten in Denmark.
Yeah, and I think a lot of the folks from Minnesota are originally from Denmark. I don't know. I just made that up. But there was a time in the not-so-distant past where we demanded superb state leadership. And clearly, Minnesotans are. Right now, they're getting terribly shortchanged. And as always, we encourage you to leave your comments for us here on this channel. And it's a topic that tons of people are brutally outraged over. So leave us your comments. We'll get back to each and every one of them as rapidly as we can.